Welcome back everyone, and this time it is for UFC 290, happening on International Fight Week. We've got the pre-prelim card, and a main card. This UFC event seems to be less stacked than the others, but still gonna be interesting. So, in the pre-prelim card, we've got 4 fights, and the first fight takes place in the lightweight division. We've got Camuela Kirk taking on Esteban Ribovics. Like I said before in one of the previous videos, I don't know much about the lightweight division, yet I'm a fan of it, so I don't understand. They're probably up-and-comers, so I'm gonna predict Camuela Kirk to pick up the win, but surprise can happen. Moving on, we've got in the flyweight division, Shannon Ross taking on Jesus Aguilar. For this one, I'm gonna go and predict Jesus Aguilar to get the win. Since I don't know them, I'm not gonna predict a finish, because I'm gonna look foolish saying, oh, this one's gonna win by submission, and he ends up not winning, and it ends up not being a submission finish. So I'm not gonna put a precise prediction on it, but who might win. This is what I'm gonna stick to. Next, in the men's bantamweight division, we've got Cameron Saaiman taking on Terence Mitchell. Now, for this one, I know about Cameron Saaiman. He's the fellow fighter, I would say, to Rondriguez Duplessis. So I've seen him fight. They have this habit of fighting in the same card or in the same event, I would say. So I'm gonna predict him to get the win. A finish would be good. I don't know Terence Mitchell at all, so we'll see. And maybe with this win, getting closer to a top 15 ranking for Cameron Saaiman. Moving on, we go to the light heavyweight division as Vitor Petrino takes on Marcin Prachnio. Like I said, I don't know them, so I'm gonna predict the one who is favorite in betting odds, and that's Vitor Petrino. How I really don't know. Light heavyweight, they have power, so maybe a knockout or technical knockout. Moving on to the prelim card, and we stay in the light heavyweight division, and I think this fight was already scheduled earlier this year. It's 14th ranked Jimmy Crute taking on Alonzo Menifield. So yeah, I think it was already scheduled, this one, and it was Jimmy Crute who could not fight, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I'm gonna predict Jimmy Crute to get the win, and maybe, I don't know if he's going to climb up the rankings. At least he's gonna keep his spot. Moving on, in the women's strawweight division, we've got Yasmin Jauregui, sorry if I mispronounced this one, against Denise Gomez. Denise Gomez fought earlier this year, like not so much long ago, like maybe 2 months ago, and I think it's Yasmin Jauregui is undefeated. There's a lot of undefeated fighters on this card. I think she's also a kind of big favorite to win this match. Talking about Yasmin Jauregui, so I'm gonna predict her to get the win. How, I don't know. I know that Denise Gomez, I think it was a finish, so a finish would be good for Yasmin Jauregui. Moving on, we go. Oh no, it's a catchweight fight actually. I hate that. So a catchweight fight between Tatsuro Taira, who is also undefeated, and he's taking on Edgar Chairez. And Tatsuro Taira is a massive favorite, a massive one. The odds are 975. That's crazy. So no brainer, I'm gonna predict him to get the win. Same thing as I just said before for the last fight. I think it will be good. But we'll see. Moving on, we go to the welterweight division as Robbie Lawler, for his final fight in the UFC, takes on Nico Price. Now, the great thing about this, to end things, I would say, properly or in a beautiful way, or to tell really a big story, would be Robbie Lawler getting the win, either by decision or finish. Doesn't matter really how. Now, Nico Price is relevant, yet he's not ranked. That doesn't matter. The welterweight division, like pretty much all division, whether it is men's division or women's division, they're crowded. So, yet not ranked, but that doesn't really matter. So, I'm still gonna predict Nico Price to get the win. You know, can't always be a fairy tale. How was going to end? Maybe a submission. Well, no, not a submission. A decision win for Nico Price. We move on to the main card that we've got in the middleweight division. Bo Nickal, that is also undefeated, taking on a really late notice Val Woodburn. I think he's undefeated too. I don't know. Well, and the odds for this one are crazy. I never seen that. 2 years that I follow the sport and I never seen that. The odds in favor of Bo Nickal are of 2,100. That's too much. Really. Thing is, like I said, late notice can't always be good for the one that was prepared to fight, because now he prepared to an opponent who was a certain style of fighting, and now another fighter comes probably with another style of fighting style, so can be screwed about that. You train 2-3 months for a fight, and then turns out you're facing someone completely different. So then again, he's been really, really impressive. Speaking of Bo Nickal, so I'm gonna predict him to get the win. It would be a finish in my mind, and maybe after that, he's legit enough to get in the rankings. He starts because he's like 4-0, so, and I think he was 1-0 before being in the Dana White Contender Series. I think it was in the Dana White Contender Series. So yeah, definitely worthy of being in the top 15. Moving on, we go back to the lightweight division, and this one is tough because we've got 11th ranked Jalen Turner taking on 12th ranked Dan Hooker. The problem I have with this one is that Jalen Turner was kind of robbed of his last fight against Mateusz Gamrot. And as for Dan Hooker, well, I think at some point he was in top 5, kind of been a downward spiral, had a couple of defeats, more than a couple, if I remember correctly. Well, there's also obviously the Dustin Poirier fight and loss. But there's the Michael Chandler one. There's the Islam Makhachev. So, yeah, at least 3 in the last 2 to 3 years. That doesn't mean it's not dangerous, but I'm not sure. Ideally, I really would like Jalen Turner to win by a finish. So I'm gonna predict him to get the win by a submission in like the 3rd round. even if it's crazy to submit Dan Hooker, but he's been submitted before. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jalin Turner on this one. Moving on, we stay in the middle, we go back, to the middleweight division. Wow, this one's crazy. Number 2, Robert Whittaker takes on number 5, Dricus du Plessis. That was actually number 6 before, but Paulo Costa moved down the rankings. Anyway, I know this one was coming because the first ranked in the middleweight division is Alex Pereira, and if they are not up to put him, speaking of Alex Pereira, in a rematch against Israel Adesanya, the current champion, Robert Whittaker is literally the number. Why? This is why Robert Whittaker is number 2, and this is why Dricus du Plessis is facing him, because this is weird. Anyway, Dricus du Plessis has been acting some kind of weird this last couple of months. You know, the whole thing about real African or something like that. I didn't understand why, because he always seemed to be respectful and polite, and not really making waves and being how could I say, attention seeking. So yeah, that kind of surprised me. About this fight, the outcome of this fight, I think Robert Whittaker is going to win. He definitely wants the trilogy with Israel Adesanya. This time around, maybe he's going to win if it happens. But for this fight, in my mind, there's no doubt it's going to be a decision. It's going to go to a decision. I don't see a finish from either of those two. But I think it's Robert Whittaker that's going to pick up the split decision win. Moving on, we now go to the co-main event, and it is for in the flyweight division, for the flyweight title. And we got the champion Brandon Moreno taking on number 2 ranked Alexandre Pantoja. This one is tough because Alexandre Pantoja defeated Brandon Moreno twice already. One in the Ultimate Fighter from 2016. I don't know the number of the season, but maybe the season 25. No, season 23. I think it is. I'll have to check. Well, the 2016 season of the Ultimate Fighter. So Brandon Moreno is kind of disadvantaged normally, but he's the champion. He faced the top of the division, dominated them because really his last fight with Davison Figueiredo, he defeated him, and that's not arguable, even if the actual decision was a medical stoppage. He was being dominated. Davison Figueiredo was being dominated, so it's not shocking and not controversial. Still, I believe Mexico is going to retain the gold because Alexandre Pantoja, even if he comes as a vengeful spirit, because he's from Brazil, as well as Davison Figueiredo, I don't think it's going to be enough. Brandon Moreno obviously evolved and got better since their last fight. So I'm picking Brandon Moreno to get the win. I don't know if Pantoja has been finished before, but a finish would be maybe in the round 4. A round 4 finish for Brandon Moreno. Moving on, and this is the main event taking place in the featherweight division. We've got champion Alexander Volkanovski taking on interim champion Yair Rodriguez. And this one is tricky. Well, not that much actually. What's tricky is not the result, but what's going to happen next. So for the result first, Alexander Volkanovski is going to win. Either if it's a finish or whether it's a finish or a decision win, that's going to go to him. I don't see Yair pulling the upset on Volkanovski. Maybe one factor who could make people think Yair is going to win is because Alexander Volkanovski is focused also on the lightweight division. This is why I'm talking about the outcome of this fight. Best case scenario, Alexander Volkanovski wins, but he he goes to the lightweight division once again, retake on the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, and maybe win the title. Worst case scenario, Alexander Volkanovski wins this fight, takes on Islam Makhachev once again, and again loses the fight. Why is it the worst case scenario? Because he would have kind of defeated everyone in the featherweight division, but moving to the lightweight division, he would have failed twice. So what does he do? Where does he go? Is he going to welterweight? Is he moving down to bantamweight? I don't think so, even if he's been a welterweight in his MMA career before. So there's a lot of questions around the result of this fight. Ideally, I would like to see a new featherweight champion. It's been quite some time that Volkanovski has the belt, but he seems into that also. He might be too focused on the lightweight division. He does keep an eye on the featherweight division. And even if he wins, if he wins, even if he wins, this fight, I just wonder who's going to be his next opponent. He hasn't been through the entire division because they can be up and comers, etc. So I might check later the men's featherweight rankings, but I think, I know one guy that this hasn't been through before. Hasn't been through yet, and this fighter is none other than Arnold Allen. Yes, this is the one I'm thinking of because I think he faced the entire top 5 except from Arnold Allen, and maybe some of the top 10 because he faced Cheng Sung Young, he faced Brian Ortega, he faced Max Holloway. Who else did he face? He's going to face Yair Rodriguez. And another one that possibly is going to be a top 5 contender, so a possible fight later on, is Ilia Topuria, undefeated at featherweight, undefeated overall. So those are the two possible future opponents for Alexander Volkanovski if he retains the belt. If Yair Rodriguez pulls the upset and keeps his interim championship, he might also get the actual champion, the undisputed championship, and then proceed to face other opponents. Just one question I have in mind for this case, for this scenario. If he wins the title, there's Max Holloway, not that far, and he already faced Max Holloway, and Yair Rodriguez lost against Max Holloway. So, I don't know. That's really tricky, like I said. The result of this fight and the outcome and what's going to be after this fight is really tricky to get. That's it. I'm going to predict Alexander Volkanovski to get the win, either by finish or decision. And that's it for UFC 290. So I'll leave you there. Till next time. Bye.